remember, all of this is with a caveat. You could use one tool or two tools or three tools or all of the tools, or you could use just your intuition. It goes back to my rule of the 80-20, 80% human, 20% AI. You don't have to just come to agencies to build a logo. For e-commerce, we go into Shopify. Shopify is using an AI to help you come up with ideas if you really suck at it. I mean, I hope you don't. The next part is...
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you, come along and see.
You made it on this page and you made it to this video, and I just want to thank you because you gave up your email to be here. This video is so dynamic and unique. It's for branding, it's for domains, but it's more than that. You may need to rebrand one day and there's all this information pulling at your hair and you want to rip your hair out because of that. This is what's going to help you get there. Domains and all these concepts beyond branding is very important. It's like the fixtures on the house, but it's not the house itself, okay? So just keep that in mind. A lot of these strategies, Google will adjust and change, and just be aware of that. So this information is relevant, and I'm going to give you frameworks so that it doesn't matter what Google does. As long as you stick with the framework, you'll work your way through to a successful brand that you're looking for. Our company went through this whole rigmarole ourselves. We just had too long of a name. It was 3 words long, and I always recommend 2 words if you can, but if there's important elements behind it, that's still cool and okay. So we went from Daniël-James Media to DJM.Design. Lots of reasons for that. It just gives more clarity and it moves away from my name and gives my team and like you guys an opportunity to know that we're a design company. There's a rebrand video on our YouTube channel as an extra bonus to you. Go watch that. It is phenomenal at just cracking the code on rebranding and what that looked like for us. And then another resource that I want, and I was actually in Redondo Beach, California, filming this on the hotel roof. So you can get a kick out of that and enjoy the fun that I had there. The next video that can add to this, watch this before you carry on with this. This is not from me. This is actually from PBS. It's a PBS production about logo design, and it's not supposed to instantly in like 5 minutes convert you into a designer, but what it's going to do is inspire you before you sit down and write some notes and like build out a logo and brand design for yourself, because this is a baby, right? It could live with you forever. It could be there for a sell, or it could be there for a long time, or it could go from your hands to another person's hands, kind of like some of the stories I have in this segment. So moving on from that, let's start in the first place I like to begin. I like to start right away. So this is the workshop. You guys need to pull out your pens and papers or take notes, follow along with me, implement what you can. So you start, right? You don't know what to do. And I'm going to show you the layout. So the first part is we look at where we start with the process, and ultimately there's a few things. Trademarks. Do you want to go the instant like backlinks and website that may be existing path, which is a secret I'm sharing with you today? Would you want to go with the original? I want to create a long-standing brand based on my thinking and process and something I'm going to love forever. Then the length of the domain, the findability, is it long-term viable, and then etiquette of domains, and then the platforms, because no one talks about that. But you buying a domain on a certain platform could have implications. Okay, and then lastly, planning the build, the website build, what platform, what colors, then the styles and different types of logos you could go with. So let's start with those logos that you could go with. So emblems, right? They're like Starbucks, Harley Davidson. There's a few of them. Even Harvard, I believe, it's got like that nice emblem effect. You feel emblems usually bring pride and status. So think about that. Like if you want an emblem brand and domain, you should go with that status vibe. Or other vibes too. Nothing is like solid here. It's all, take it with a grain of salt. Use it for your knowledge. Pictorial, right? Pepsi, Apple, Twitter. These are image style brands like that make sense for invoking what that is. So it's abstract in a lot of ways, and so pictorials can be difficult when you go in that brand direction. So just make sure you're okay with staying with that iconography before having to rebrand again. So another big word you can use under that. Mascot brands, Geico, phenomenal at mascot brands. Kool-Aid, Michelin Man, these are all personas behind a brand that actually elevates the brand way up, and they kind of like milk it. You milk that mascot until you get what you want, and everyone knows the mascot, right? So think about those. Insurance companies love these. I don't know why. They're crazy about them. One of my favorites is Jake from State Farm. There's an SNL skit about it, and it's basically Jake takes over the family and like pushes the dad out, which is really bizarre. Go check that out. So word marks, the most common brand type. So you're talking about Amazon, Google, Coca-Cola, right? They're using the word and then they're going with the brand. I do enjoy this type of branding because not only could you incorporate your keyword, you could mesh words together to end up with a Amazon, right? Selling things from A to Z. That was Amazon. That's how Jeff Bezos came up with that concept. Abstract. It's a little bit like pictorial, but you have to be careful with this one. So like Nike falls under the abstract section. There's a few others in here, and I have it labeled wrong on this section. But abstract could just it's more of a logo that doesn't exist in a place that's super. So yeah, I apologize. Like that's got the wrong labeling. When you look at abstract logos, you can think of companies like NBC. You can look at Slack, Unilever, and the reason these are, I would put caution on these, is because these companies did a phenomenal job. Airbnb is another one. Phenomenal job scaling with the brand and being extremely adaptive as they were scaling. And so they're almost allowed to have this abstract vibe to them. I mean, if you look at NBC, it's just a peacock, right? But you wouldn't know it's a peacock unless you looked close enough. FedEx has some of that as well. There's like an arrow in FedEx, which means the forward movement, and we'll get to that, which is the evolution of domains and brands. So why am I talking about branding? Because without branding, your domain is just a domain. With branding, you supercharge it. You put something behind it. Now let's go to the next step. So at this step, you want to pull up something like Google Trends or Google Keyword Planner. And I worked with a client, and we went through this whole discussion about a tinting company. So I said, let's just stop and look at what's ranking. So this is a technique you can use with the wordings and things that you're combining. I typed in window tinting on Google Trends, tinting company, and tinting cars. Now you can go deeper and choose cities and locations and get like data nerd, like the way I like to do it. But you don't have to. Look at the USA, look at the world, try and estimate what you're going to get as web searches, YouTube searches, image searches. So do that for yourself. Write down all your ideas first with a pen and paper. Come back to the computer, because now your creativity is written down. And then see if these keywords actually rank. So it's a part of the strategy of where you can get some beginning results, is to go straight for the keyword if you're going in that route. Next is my least favorite, and we'll see where this ends up in the future, is using an AI to help you come up with ideas if you really suck at it. I mean, I hope you don't. And I know I've stumbled upon some funny ideas. So, you could throw in there, let's say window tinting. You could even say window tinting brands, combine like 50 or 100 different combinations, and like you could have ChatGPT do the hard work and then pick out what you like. I always like the 80-20 with AI. 80% human, man, 20% AI, because it just has so many errors and flaws at this stage. Who knows what it'll be like in the future. Next is Keyword Planner. Again, going for those high ranked domains could put you in that bucket to where you want to be. And anyone can do this. So if you have an account, you just sign up and it's free. You click on Keyword Planner under the Tools section, and once Keyword Planner pops up, I just use the Discover New Keywords. I'll do window tinting, and this could be for cars, could be for anything. I could do tinting near me. Okay, so I threw the tinting companies in there, and it's so cool. Like this client example, I'll kind of pull up a little bit so you can see how fun this is. And maybe if you guys want this video of me having a real life example of doing all this planning with him, just go check this out. And so once I go into this, I kind of talk about a lot of concepts relating to this. So let's go back to the Add Keyword Planner. and instantly I'm going to see how much volume and search is around those words. So I like this as a starting point for even going back to the words you wrote down. So window tinting obviously has 100K to 1 million if you're serving the whole of US. In this case, let's say we're serving Colorado because we want to be accurate, and we target, let's even just go more granular. Let's do Weld County and Larimer County, Northern Colorado. Okay, so you can do this with based on county, zip codes, however you like, because I really want to know volume, and this will come later down the road with your website. It could come with your web SEO or your advertising. But under window tinting, you could do tint near me, tinting, window tinting, so privacy window firm. And I'm just trying to get volume ideas here, car tinting near me. So once we started there, I could tell a few things. Number one, tinting, not the word tint, is better. Okay, so it sounds silly, but we kind of played with this animal figure and the word tinting. So I'm going to use an example. Let's say Leopard Tinting Company, or Leopard Tint. And with domains and branding, the shorter the better, because it's going to happen where clients will just evolve and they'll actually shorten your name for you. An example of that is Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola, people just started saying it's Coke. So your audience has this natural tendency to shorten your brand. Thus, another reason we went with DJM, because people did shorten our brand, and so we listened. And I think the big note there is listen and evolve with your audience. Try not to fight it unless it's really against your values, but I'd say go for it. The next tool that I love is Answer the Public. Now we have Leopard Tinting, for example, and or the Leopard Tinting Company or something like that. But Answer the Public, you could put in tinting, and it will show you every search in a circular diagram. It's a free tool, and it will show you like positioning. It will show you just all these great words that now you can play with as well. Okay, moving on to the next part. Now you know what you want. You know you want an emblem logo, and it needs to be leopard printing, or actually mascot logo in this case, and leopard tinting. Now you have to stop, because this is the unfortunate thing. There could be a trademark on that name. So if you go and you try and do this brand, but there's a trademark, they could come back and sue you. So we're just following up with compliance, making sure you're ready to launch this brand successfully without any suits. So you'll land on the USPTO Gov site, and then you go to trademarks, and then you will search new trademark, basic search. I love the basic search because it really makes sense. I'll just use my brand, for example, DJM.Design. Or we'll just do leopard tinting, or leopard tint, because we like the shorter version. Submit query. No trademarks found. Perfect, we can use it. But like, let's say you went and did Apple. Boom, look at all of those. Holy macaroni, you're gonna be screwed. So if it's a big enough company, the trademark suits could be super expensive. You're looking at 120,000 for some of these cases. But obviously those are bigger companies, and that's depending on how far you've gone along with it. Sometimes it's a slap on the wrist, and they're just like, hey, stop using our trademark, change your brand. And that's not fun either, because now you have to go through the whole rebranding process. And you don't want that. I don't want that for you. I just want a fun experience as you enjoy this process. So there's the Answer the Public again with that link, and then let me go to this side over here. So your trademark's good. Here's a follow-up. So we get to the path split at this very point, and you get to decide a very important decision. Are you going to go with something that already exists and try and leverage that and use the backlinks of an existing website? And how does that work, and what's the scariness behind it? A lot of people don't even think about that when they start their brand, so I'm going to help you think about it. So that's path number one, I would say, and path two is just go with what you've come up with so far and continue the process and skip this step. So go to GoDaddy, go to auctions, and in auctions you can find this tab called expiring. You have to sign up for an auctions account. I think it's like a few dollars, like $2 or $3 a year. You can search for hundreds to thousands, and you can even go and say domains that are ending soon as auction. So ending soons, and then there's the fixed price. There's a few others that you can kind of go after. The ending soon are the most expensive because you're going to fight in an auction to get them. But why do I even like talk about this? And I'm going to show you. So let's take this first one that shows up. Yeah, the estimated value tab shows you how much these domains are worth. So you can just filter by the highest valued domain. And what does the value come from? It comes from the SEO ranking. It comes from a lot of things. Was there a previous website? Can you rebuild that website? Look at this one, Kota.com, right? We have $24,000 worth of value, and take that domain and go to this next part, which is called Estabot, and you can appraise it, or you can do the GoDaddy one, and there's a GoDaddy appraiser. So wouldn't you love to start with a domain that has, like this one, $110,000 value? That is just stupid awesome. So like, just take that for an example. One day you need to sell your business. You already have gained $110,000 worth of value, or $80,000 in this case, because you minus what you're paying for what you're getting. And it is a strategy, it is risky, but it's so much better than just guessing what's a good domain. So I can also go to the next tab, which is one of my favorites, is to double check the backlinks, because backlinks are articles that have been shared on other platforms that point back to this website or this domain, and therefore there's like organic traffic. It's something you can scale on. But there's also something called like black hat, which is like bad toxic domains. Those can actually be removed. Once you own the domain, you can go in and tell Google Search Console, or you can get an agency like us or someone else to help you, say, take off those bad backlinks, so you can remove them. You're not locked in with them. So if I pull this site up, the coach, there's 1.4 thousand backlinks, and they look healthy. Some of them look okay. Then you've got some of these funky ones. So I would want to remove the funky ones for sure. You could hire someone to do that. But yeah, now like I would even go back and say, okay, let's search for tinting. Tinting, search, expiring. So look at these, tinting.1, tinting.london, right? That's a good one, tinting.london. If you live in London, you're solid. You're gonna crush that game over there. You have 2 keywords in that domain. So this is how I want you to think. I want you to think leveraging, right? Leveraging what is already out there. To see if it has a website behind it, you could take like the tinting.london and you could go into Wayback Machine. So Wayback Machine is also a free tool. A lot of us web designers use it. And you can go and track down, did this site actually exist? You can't rebuild from this. Like you can use your imagination, and a designer can put together the pieces and rebuild it. It's not going to be perfect, but there is ways to kind of go about rebuilding, and it's not the easiest process. But sometimes just knowing the fact that there was a website behind it is great, because you have all this data and this history for your domain. So domain hacking, now you've got that little piece figured out. You can also go as far as researching a competitor. And an example I want to give you is, sometimes there's a person I know who had bought a domain from someone, bought a business, and that domain already had traffic. And what happened was they had a relationship with that audience on the get-go. So once the domain was acquired, the audience kind of was much more open to the idea of the new owner. And so that's a strategy as well, as buying the business and going from there. Now, granted, the person who sold the domain wanted this person to have it, and so it was a much cheaper price. So that's a key tip there. Build relationships with the people you're buying from, obviously. And you can use this competitor tool to try and find businesses you can buy, Uber Suggest, as well as Flipper.com. We use this a lot when we are researching and trying to find acquisition businesses that are fun to look at, or websites we're trying to sell in the DJM sphere. So there's a resource there. You've successfully ventured deep into this journey, and now I talk about color. So why color now? The reason is because that is such an afterthought. It is part of the brand, but it comes it comes right, I feel like it comes right after all these steps of confirming, because now you can really play. So there's so many color guides online, so many different reasons and purposes behind what color means what. For me personally, it could go a lot of ways. Orange is not on here, but obviously orange is an action color as well as green, but it's a less aggressive action color than green. So you have blue, which is deep, you have green, which can activate, red, which is passionate, intense, yellow, fun, light, enjoyable, purple, royal, majestic. There's sometimes more meanings to these colors, so just go look them up. Black, serious, cool, dark, and then there's pink, sweet, fun, also partly joyful, brown, natural, multicolor, everyone, unity, rainbow. You can kind of go down that road. So yeah, and then a repetition note here, evolve with your audience. But a final piece too is you don't have to just come to agencies to build a logo. It is ideal, it is better, because they're gonna take your vision and do what I just did and like drag it out and play with it and come up with solutions on how it should look and why it should look that way. 5 different concepts. And so if you don't have a lot of time, an agency is great. But then there's also Canva. There's also freelancers out there that you can utilize and maximize and try yourself. There's AI generators, but it goes back to my rule of the 80-20, 80% human, 20% AI, until, I don't know, hopefully they don't replace all of our jobs, right? So like, I don't think AI is quite there yet, and maybe after this video posts, it's there, but you can't like say, I want specific flowers coming out of this letter with this concept and it come out the way you want it to be. It just won't do that. It doesn't have the intention and the humanity behind it, is what I believe. But thank you so much for watching this. It was long, but it was good. It was important. If there's something that I missed in here, just let me know. This was a private video for you especially, and follow into the next step. Yeah, so there's a follow-up video that is going to go into more of, now how do you tackle a website in a day, or what do you need to think about, what do you need to plan. So I'd like you to take advantage of that and really embrace that next phase, because we'll talk about, cool, you have your brand, you have your domain, now what platforms. And with domains, I recommend GoDaddy, Google Domains. There's a few others you can try, like Namecheap, but those are my top 3s. And then from there, I would say your platform starts to play a piece, and we'll talk more about platforms. But then you have WordPress, the OG, the everything, the most technical way to build sites, the best way to go national with a domain is what I believe, the best loading speed. Then you have Wix, which is a DIYer platform, easy to edit, but still complicated enough that you can throw in cool integrations. I don't prefer Squarespace over Wix. I think Wix has dominated that space. For e-commerce, we go into Shopify. Shopify is partly gold there. On WordPress, you have WooCommerce, which is pretty strong too, and a few other custom built stuff on WordPress. So those are going to tilt the scales for you. Are you e-com? Are you Wix? Are you a WordPress? You need to go to the WordPress side and have more agency help or freelance help. So comment as well, like which one of those are you? Comment like once you've bought the domain and so that no one steals it. Comment your success, put it in there. You could throw it on a Facebook group, the private access group. You can throw it under this video. I don't care. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I need to experience it so that I can feedback loop with you guys and get information that is useful. We will respond, we will interact, but don't forget, the next part is what I've been talking about that can really show you how to do it in a day, but we're going to pick a specific avenue for that, and there's some really hidden tips in that process for you guys to capture and embrace. I have some bonus things in there too once you've moved through that piece of this journey. We're thinking of 3 extras that you can take advantage of as well. Maybe some templates that you can auto use. Templates we've proven they have high success rate for certain clients, and you can just kind of DIY it, where you just throw in your branding and it works, and you can pick up the pieces and leverage the fact that we have data behind these 10 like templates, for example. It's just some of the fun stuff that I will mention, but you need to go and check out without me. So thank you so much for spending this time. I will see you. Cheers. This is Daniël-James from DJM.Design, and yeah, enjoy the content as well. There's a YouTube channel that is public, unlike this video, so go subscribe to us. We appreciate you, and we thrive on serving what people need. So, and this is what you guys need and have asked for. Here it is. So see ya.